How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to break down exactly how I turned my first client and one of my strong, good clients got some good results into a $40,000 a month agency by leveraging active leverage and passive leverage. And I'm going to explain what both of those are and how you can use them yourself if you have a good client, 3 clients, 5 clients, 10 clients, and you want to grow and get more without having to do the typical cold SMS, cold calling, cold DMing. Any of that, this is going to be exactly how step by step. So, number one, I want to break down why these other methods are going to, be very difficult at scale and be very difficult to build good clientele on, right? So SMS and cold calling, it works, but it's 100% a volume game. And this is why most people start here, is because when you have nothing but time and you have no results to show for, the only thing you can do is trade your time for trying to convince somebody who has no fucking clue who you are to work with you. So you're building trust from zero every single message or call, and the conversion and show rate are going to very heavily reflect that. If you ever talk to someone who does cold calling or cold SMS, even with the best system ever, best follow-ups, they're probably running like a 50% show rate. And that's just because cold traffic is very difficult to convert. And even on this 50%, they might have a 20% close rate, right? So how much do you really need? How much volume do you really need to book these calls and only half of them show up and 20% of them close? It's very rough. So it's just slow and it's expensive in this time, which is why we need to get away from this as fast as possible. Once we have a testimonial, once we get results for one client, literally one, if you have results for 3, 4, 5 clients, you could fucking ditch all of this and you could make a ton of money without having to trade your time for it, just like I'm going to show over here. Next is cold DMing. It's pretty much the same as cold calling, except worse when you're doing it, with no presence. People are going to see a lot of these. I get dozens of cold DMs every day, and even a good offer is going to get, shooed out with the rest because you can't stand out where every single person looks and sounds the same. There's only so many ways to catch someone's attention. Do you really think I'm going to respond to a chat that says, yo, Josh, love the content, man. How are you handling your email? I'm not responding to that. Paid ads, these are great for product businesses, and you've probably realized by running ads for your clients that you can get incredible results for your clients by running ads. But the problem is for service businesses, when you're doing business to business sales, the trust required to convert something and convert someone is not the same that a 30-second ad can build, right? If you're asking for $2,000, honestly, you should be selling for more than $2,000. You can't convince someone to do that in a short period of time, right? So they click on the ad, even if they, watch a VSL, say it's 5 minutes, right? And then they book 3 days later. So within 3 days, they're getting on the call. And in between this time, say you send like 5 reminders. This 3-day period and 5 minutes of watching your content and these 5 texts is not enough to convince someone, like I said, to pay you 2 to 5K, right? It's never going to be enough. You might get a few, you might get a couple, but the reason paid ads are difficult is because you need this kind of leverage in order to make them work at a high level. And if you're running it without, a blank page, if you're running it with a blank page, it's just gonna fucking suck. It's gonna be really difficult. You're gonna spend a lot of money. You're gonna get a lot of unqualified calls. Like I said, you can generate leads, but the quality of those leads reflect how little they know about you going in. How many times have you guys, if you ran paid ads, gotten on a call and the guy just wants to pay $150, right? He's like, hey, yeah, I'll pay you $150, right? They don't want to pay because they don't have this understanding of who you are and the value, right? The value that you can actually provide them. So the common thing among these is none of them are wrong. They just put you in a position where you're always starting from zero with every single new prospect. There's no accumulation, there's no leverage. Every client is going to require the same amount of effort as the last one. So how did I solve this? How did I fix this? And what am I bringing into the agency space that is not something that most people are doing? Number one, I want to start with passive leverage, because this is something that is probably more important. And honestly, in my mind, active leverage is better if you have that time. And this is what I want you guys to pay attention to when I get to it. If you have, that 1 to 10 clients that you want to start leveraging. But first, let's go over passive leverage. This is going to be your account, your profile. So having it clear who you're helping, a clear profile that actually runs a funnel into, your content ecosystem, right? We're going to send them to our YouTube. You can see all of these assets that we've created. And I want you to really understand the word asset, because when you create a video, it is going to be repurposed and used over and over and over and over and over. Every video is basically like a sales rep that is going to be working for you forever. You can go look at any of these videos and you can listen to me talking and pitching basically to these companies, right? So not pitching. That's no one want to watch a 40-minute long pitch, right? But you can send these to your leads to warm them up. It'll also give you that inbound lead flow that you're looking for, because leads from YouTube are very high quality. If someone can sit and listen and talk to you, or hear you talk for 20, 30, 40 an hour, they're obviously interested and invested. Of course, we're going to also have our reels where we're either educating, building this authority, explaining systems, or we're just bringing in clients, showing our results, and maybe talking about some funny things like this. But when you are able to explain things and diagnose problems, and advise even for free, it's going to show that you know a lot about what you're talking about. And in the beginning, right? In the beginning, this is going to be more of an asset that we're going to use to send this active leverage to. We're going to use our active leverage to build our passive leverage. And once the passive leverage is big enough, it will create its own lead flow. You can see here the amount of inbound DMs that I am able to get from my page. Currently I have like 5.8K followers, I think, right? 5.8K followers on Instagram, and I'm able to generate, $30,000-$40,000 a month just from my Instagram, right? Just from my Instagram, only through the passive leverage, not even utilizing the active leverage anymore. So same thing with real estate, right? You can think of this as real estate. The first house that you buy, right? I don't know how many of you guys are into this, but the first house that you buy might only cash flow you, $500 a month, right? Say it's, rental property, even say, up to $1,200, right? So $1,200 a month cash flow. But if you get 10, 15, Tom Cruise has 700 rental properties, right? And after you build this up enough by taking this money and you reinvest it, take this money and you reinvest it, take this money and you reinvest it. Same thing with your page. Continue to build the proof, continue to build the proof, make the client highlights, explain your system, show everything top to bottom so that people can trust you and see that you're an expert and you know what you're talking about and that you can solve their problems, right? Because the truth is, if you have a client, even one result, if you have one client result, or you have 10, if you have 10 clients that you've done this for, it's even better because you have more proof. You have more proof and you're more of an expert and you have more of an understanding of this industry than most people do in your situation. So you can genuinely help people. You can help people and you can make them a lot of money. You can provide your service and help their business. So back to this analogy, the first house might only make you a little bit of money, but when you keep reinvesting and you have 700 houses, the dude makes $1 million a month, right? So it's like, because of the compounding effect, it makes it so important. The first few videos are going to be slow, and I want you to understand that. So documented proof of results that live permanently and will work without you. Every piece of content is a sales rep working all day, every day. Like I said, companies aren't buying services, they buy certainty. When a decision maker, whether it's the owner, whether it's a single person, whether it's a small business, e-com store, when they see the proof across multiple different platforms before they've ever even talked to you, you've already 50% won the conversion, because the people are coming into your sales calls trusting, right? And that's one of the biggest things. How many times have you gotten on a call from one of these and you can just feel that there's no trust? It's almost like they don't want to be talking to you, but it's the exact opposite when they come from this passive leverage. And we're literally just utilizing the results that we already have, the things that we've already done for brands, the work we've already done. It's no extra work. It's just the work that we've already done. We're showcasing it in a way that will build us this lead flow, right? So I want to go into this active leverage now. So active leverage, the way that I used it and the way that I have seen a lot of my clients see success with it is through TikTok Live. So when you broadcast on TikTok Live, it's to an audience that's already scrolling, and it creates a real-time sales environment with zero ad spend. Okay, this is the most important part. The platform rewards watch time with distribution. So the more people stay, the longer people are interacting and watching, the more people it's going to get shown to. So you're getting this attention that, if you are active, is going to compound in real time. Look, talking to 47 people, right over here, talking to 35 different people. And what I'm doing is I just have my results, right? And when you are displaying and talking about the right things, you can literally have your live shown to your ICP, right? Depending on the way that you set it up. And if you have everything with the right structure and framework, you can get specifically ICP viewers. So this means blue collar, you can get contractors. I signed a ton of blue collar services. I also signed a lot of e-com stores, right? So I signed a ton of e-com stores through TikTok Live, brands just like this. The most that I ever signed was one doing $250,000 a month on Amazon, right? And he wanted to branch over into Meta. I said, dude, hit me up on Instagram. And then this is what happens, because we send them over to our Instagram, right? Where we have all of this proof already built. So they start this conversation with us. It's basically like a free webinar, except you didn't have to build a funnel, you didn't have to run ads to it, or you didn't have to pay for anyone to show up. The platform is literally filling the live stream for you, and every live is basically a pitch event that TikTok is going to promote for you. It is the most broken way to get clients with your time. I would rather sit on TikTok live than do anything else, literally anything else, because if you have a result, TikTok live will show this result to people passive, or I mean, it's active, but without you having to dial the phone, without you having to send a text message. You just sit there. You sit there, and when you have everything set up the right way and you have your pages set up the right way, it converts like a motherfucker, right? But why? Why do these two work so well? So active leverage creates the trust spike in the lead moment, right? So people see your thing, you have a small conversation with them, they see you're live, you have a small conversation with them, and you're able to direct them to the passive leverage that we've already built all the way over here. All of this is passive, right? It just exists without us. So the passive leverage is going to handle the nurture and the conviction, right? So if someone is half convinced from the TikTok live, you talk a little bit and they're like, does this guy really know what he's talking about? Let me check his Instagram. Now they're sold because they see the Instagram, they see some of the brands that you've worked with. They can go to your YouTube, they'll check out your YouTube, see the content that you're already redistributing from the results that you've made. They can click through the highlights, see even more, results that you've made, scaling $100,000 weeks, right? So things like that are going to create conviction that you are a person that can help them. So you're not only getting free lead flow, but you're getting free conversion without you having to pitch them one-on-one on a sales call. It's the strongest funnel ever, right? So it compounds, but if it's built right, most people who try content, they don't get results because they're posting without any framework and they're trying to either go viral or they don't understand how to convert the attention that they're getting. Some guys might get, 100,000 views in a month and they're not getting any conversions from it. You might get, 2 sales calls booked with 100,000 views. Is horrible, right? So, I mean, if you understand how to not only get the attention, but convert the attention and also get attention from people who matter. If you have 100,000 views, but they're all, 60-year-old grandmas or they're 12-year-old, middle schoolers, they're not going to convert because that's not your customers. So if you're able to get the attention from your customers and you're able to convert them because you have the proper setup, it's going to continue to compound because it's about the right content, hitting the right person at the right stage of their awareness. And that's why we have these 2 different funnels running at the same time, because one's introductory, one is convincing, right? So it's going to, number 2, collapse the sales cycle. You're not just going to overnight, have this incredible lead flow and you're going to sign 100 clients, but leads are still going to come in. You're still going to have to close them, get on sales calls. But instead of spending 80% of the call building the trust, they arrive understanding what you do, understanding who you are, understanding what results you can provide. And we call this being pre-sold because 90% of the calls are going to be people who have decided that they want to work with you, and that's why they're on the call. When you pitch these calls over here from SMS, cold DM, all these different things, it's more of let's get on a call and we'll explain the service. I'll see if it's a good fit for you and yada, yada, yada. And the people showing up are doing it either out of curiosity or they're doing it because they're looking to extract value from the call versus the people that you get on calls from inbound and from this system. They already know that they want to buy and work with you because they've convinced themselves from the proof that you've shown that you're worthy of fixing their problem. So everything is changing from why should I work with you to how do we start, right? It's basically very hard to not build a presence in this space when you're doing it the right way because it's not saturated. It works because most agencies are not doing it. Cold outreach, everyone's fucking doing it. Content acquisition is very uncrowded in the agency space. How many times have you scrolled and seen, an agency account targeting local businesses or targeting e-com stores with tens of thousands of followers? You probably almost never have because I never have, right? And when I was making these conversions, when I was getting these, look at my follower count, guys. Because I have less than 2,000 followers and I was able to sign clients doing $250,000 a month. So don't tell me it's not about, or it's not possible because you don't have a lot of following. Kareem signed a client before he had 50 followers, right? And I already made posts about that. I already explained that on my Instagram if you want to check that out. But content-based acquisition is extremely uncrowded, which is exactly why it's working. But the window isn't going to stay open forever because people will catch on. If you are watching this, I don't know if you guys understand that picture, but this is like that thing with the trends, right? There's trends. You have like the early innovators, and then you have like the peak popularity, and then you have like the late people who catch. You guys are right here. You guys are right at the brink of the massive boom that is about to happen with content and agencies, because people are going to catch on to how strong and powerful this is, either using the live method or using Instagram to build this trust and having this ecosystem. And I'm seeing it across other niches and parallels in the info space, right? Info, we're at the peak right now. Everyone is understanding that content is important, and that's why they're over here talking about a trust recession, right? Because there's so many people doing it that we're starting to fall off, where people are trying new things like webinars and other things. But in the agency space, you're in the very beginning where we haven't even began to climb to the top. So if you get in now, and by the time it's peak popularity, you already have 15,000 plus followers, right? You are going to be established in this space, and the trust is already going to be built. You're not going to have to worry about this so-called trust recession where people stop trusting you, because you're already established, right? There's a reason people trust people with higher following counts, is because they're established. So when you start sooner and you take advantage of the opportunity, it's it's amazing. The results are visible before the relationship starts, right? So brands are able to see your work before they ever talk to you, and by the time they reach out, their objections are already handled. You're not selling, you're just confirming the decision that they made. If someone's getting on a call with you after seeing all of your results, they know your price, they're confident that you are someone who can fix their problems, and they still book a call with you, they're buying. They're buying because what else is there left to discuss, right? If they understand your deliverables, understand the results you get, understand how much it costs to work with you, and believe that you are a person who is, trustworthy based on everything that you've put out, why would they not? Why would they not close? Finally, it's not passive in the beginning. I want this to be very clear, because a lot of people will start content and they're not taking advantage of the active leverage that you can use to get attention in the beginning, because you need to build the passive leverage. You can't post on Instagram and overnight blow up and have this incredible passive lead flow that's going to happen. There is a stage where you have to put a little bit of time into building, these things up, right? So if you skip the active leverage part and you just try to go straight to passive, you're going to post, you're going to get 100 followers for the first month, or maybe even less, and you're going to get 0 conversions. Next month, you're going to post more. You're going to post 30 times a month, 0 conversions. Then you're going to post again, and you're going to get 0 conversions, because you're not building it in the right order. You're not building the right order. If you start with the active the active leverage, you are going to be able to sign a client. I don't even want to give you guys time frames, but within the first couple of weeks, right? So it's not passive. Most people are trying it and they're quitting before it actually kicks in, because they can't tell if it's working. And that's where understanding the framework and understanding the order of operations is going to change your results. It's, for example, if you're on a sales call and you price drop in the beginning of the sales call versus after you've built the value, of course you're never going to fucking close, right? So if you start trying to build the active leverage or the passive leverage, right? You're trying to build your page up to get you this lead flow before you've ever built any of the value or built the trust or built the audience, of course it's never going to convert, right? You need to do it in an order that makes sense. So the contrast is, while you are probably chasing, interrupting, pushing, spending with all these different acquisition methods, trying to do volume, trying to, reach out in the cold DMs, is still insane that people still do that, in my opinion. But this is attracting. You're attracting clients. You're attracting the right kind of clients. You can choose your ICP, and you can tell the algorithm exactly how you want to reach them, right? Whether it's through the live streams, whether it's through the content, whether you do it on YouTube. There's a ton of ways to program or train, or however you want to call it, the algorithm to deliver your content to these people. Whether you want to target people doing 30K a month, whether you want to target people doing 10K a month, whether you want to target people doing $1 million a month, right? There's no limit to what is available to reach through social media. And when you make the proof so visible and consistent, clients are going to come to you already sold. So if you have clients and you have made money for people, like I said, you can do it with one. It gets easier the more clients you have. If you have 10 testimonials and you're like, fuck, I really hate cold SMS. I've been running it for the last year. I have 10 great testimonials. I would rather just learn how to leverage these so that I can continue to get more of these dream clients, spend less time on sales calls, probably increase your pricing, and most importantly, cut off the bullshit, bro. Who wants to do all of this? Who Who does? I can't tell you the last time I never got a client from cold calling ever. And you know, it's because I built this system and I ran it this exact way. You can see me literally right here on TikTok Live with the viewers. It's my account. I mean, it's what I did. So the more testimonials, the more proof that you have, and the more expertise you have in your niche with these kind of clients that you work with, is the more this is going to convert for you faster. It'll convert faster, and you'll be able to convert at a higher level. If you're doing it with one client, you can still do it. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I did it with zero, and like I said, I did it with this one client that I was spamming everywhere. So you can do it with one, but it'll work better with 10. If you guys are interested in learning more, you can always just send me a DM on Instagram. Be happy to answer any questions. I'll leave the link in the description, and hop on the wave before you lose your chance. That's all I'm gonna say. So I appreciate you guys.